So hello, welcome to tonight's late night talk slash topic. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Tonight's topic is about, just why being yourself is cool and why you should just be yourself and be who you want to be. The world is a very judgmental place, and it's very hard for us to express ourselves, especially with the online world and the way that the internet is. It's a very rough time. You get judged for every little small thing that you do, or your interests or your hobbies. Like, let's say like you were like me growing up in school, you got judged for being the more nerdy type of person. You got judged for, being into anime, for being into games, for being into Yu-Gi-Oh, for being into, whatever you're really into. Despite all the judgment though, everybody being themselves is a really cool thing that I think a lot of people should definitely express more regardless of the judgment and everything like that. Just because, well, everybody's different and unique in their own way, obviously. So I one of my favorite things to learn about people is just learning like their interests and hobbies. I love like meeting new people and talking to them about like what like they're doing in life and like like if they had a dream job, what would they pick, and like what they're into, and I get to learn new things, which is also really cool. Think of if everybody was the same, it'd be very boring. It would be like, imagine, everybody had the same interests, everybody looked the same, everybody did the same stuff. It would we all we all in general do the same stuff every day. Maybe we go to work and we go straight home. Like me. Maybe we go to school, we game, we sleep, repeat for the rest of your life. Imagine if everybody like looked the same, had the same interests, like they had the same hobbies as you. And you didn't really get to meet new people or really learn about really anything new in your life. Because I think one of the cool things about our brains especially is how whenever we learn a new thing, it's our like we get that sort of like dopamine rush of like, oh, this is really cool to learn, and then you want to keep learning. It becomes a hobby or it becomes a career. It could also come in, let's say, like your looks, for example. Like you're maybe you're more gothic. Maybe you're more of a someone who likes dressing, all fancy in suits and stuff. Maybe you're a guy who wants to grow your hair out, like how I did. I've grown my hair out for 3 or 4 years now, probably something like that. Maybe you like short hair. Maybe you want to dye your hair different colors, which I think is also a really cool thing that a lot of people should at least try once. I know understand if it's not for you. Because some people, it's just not for everybody, and that's totally okay. Everybody is their own person. Everybody has their own passions. They have their own dreams. They have their own stuff they want to do in life. They have their own interests. They have their own looks. They have their different clothing styles they want to wear. Like, maybe you could wear like little accessories too, like necklaces or like jewelry or like any sort of like, thing that adds on an extra little bit of taste to what you just wear on a daily basis. I think a cool thing about everybody being themselves too is the fact that, we also get to see other people like being different as well. And of course, everybody's gonna judge you for looking different, for not looking the same, not looking how society wants you to. I've gotten a lot of, personally, I've gotten a lot of comments for the way I look with my hair and stuff, be having a diet. Everybody says like, oh, like it's not very manly to do, blah blah blah, all that type of stuff. Regardless to that though, I've gotten a lot of also really good compliments from people. A lot of people like that I dress more gothic. I have the longer hair. It looks a lot better on me than I did when I had it short. I will tell you that much. I am never going back to that in my life. It's also really it's really cool to get experimental with yourself too and figure out who you really want to be. I didn't really know I was going to be the way I was growing up because I was always afraid of being judged and everything, and then eventually the older I got and I talked to a lot of like older people more, a lot more like older generation people more than me, and they're like, yeah, like one of the hardest things for people in life in general is them just being themselves and expressing who they want to be. Everybody should just, be themselves for yourself, be who you want to be and have the interests you want to have and do the things you want to do. Um, like look at the really like famous people that you might watch. Look at all the streamers you watch. Look at all the YouTubers you watch. The music producers that you listen to on a daily basis. Everybody has different styles. They have different looks. They have different personalities, and that's the really cool part about just life in general. Is everybody has like everything about somebody is different. You might meet somebody who has the same stuff as you. You might like you might meet people who have the same interests, you might have people who have the same hobbies, you might meet people who dress the same, you might meet people who accept you for who you are, which is like one of the best things you can ever have in life, and that's also really cool to see. For those of you who also are maybe you still get judged on a daily basis for who you want to be or how you want to look, I will tell you this, that as long as you are happy with yourself and how you look, it doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't really matter what other people think. I know that it's very hard for us to take criticism if it's not positive. I know what my brain, when somebody tells me that I don't look good, it's like, it kind of kills my confidence and everything. But just know that as long as you are happy with yourself and you're doing it for yourself, then that's totally okay. And you should always be who you are. Everybody in this world is really cool and unique and is also really interesting. I've met a lot of people in my past couple of years of just like through the internet and meeting people at my work and getting advice from people who are older than me about stuff and talking to people about like different career choices. Like, oh, what would you do, if you had your dream job? What would you do if like you can do anything in life and stuff like that? It's really cool to learn about people and how different and unique everybody is, and that's the cool thing. Yeah, just remember to always be unique and be yourself, and it's totally okay to get experimental. You never really like me. I never really knew who I really was until I became an adult with like the whole more gothic aesthetic I have, obviously by the avatar and stuff. But yeah, it's also a really big change whenever you first graduate like high school and as well too, is that adults are judgy, but you don't get judged as much as you did in school. Because whenever we were in school, we had the cliques, the groups. We had people who were very judgmental. Everybody was still growing up and learning about themselves. And if you were different, they thought you were weird. They thought you were, all that type of stuff. Really, on like a daily basis, though, I barely even like get talked about, and that's also really cool. Is like a lot. I mean, obviously, adult life, everybody's going through their own stuff, and everybody's also going through a lot of stress and maybe people don't have the time for it. You're still gonna meet everybody now and then who's a little bit judgmental and everything, doesn't really understand you. I've gone through that personally. I've met a lot of people where, like, oh, like, why do you paint your nails as a dude? Like, and all this other type of stuff. And, it's just who I am. And a lot of people like it. A lot of people don't. But I'm happy with myself and I'm happy with who I am. So I'm going to continue being that. And I think that anybody who does watch my content and everything should just be yourself no matter what. Obviously, as long as it's not affecting others around you and it's not going to personally hurt you, then it's totally okay to do. This is the end of this topic on why you should be yourself and why it's cool to do. I know it's very hard for us to do that. For some people, it might not be, but remember that you can be whatever you want to be in life and you can do whatever you want to as long as you are committed and you have the mindset for it. Maybe you want to have your dream job. Maybe you want to go to college, go do the thing. Live your life to the fullest. We only have one life to live, so we might as well get experimental, and get creative and see new things and experience new things in life. Like maybe you want to travel the world and everything. So, with that being said though, I'm not going to let you guys go. Thank you if you made this far. I'm gonna hit you with the whole YouTube spiel of like, comment, subscribe, all that type of stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.